Other Torah spreads from generation to generation. It's worth noting that the gematria of Ishay virus is the same as Meor. In the 2 years that I've been a Banquet in Yeshivas HaTorah, I cannot describe the amount of excitement the Rebbeim show when giving over a piece of Gemara, a Rashi, or a Tzvah. They not only help you learn the Torah, they also make you love it. I always felt very fortunate being part of this excitement. And the Meor of Torah continues on today because of the incredible devotion the Rebbeim showed to the Talmidim. This is what Yeshiva is supposed to look like. This is what the Avos had in mind when we started the Mesorah, the Mesiras HaTorah of giving over the love of Torah. As I embark on my next journey, going to Beis Medrash, I want to publicly thank my parents, and whom I can truly say are people who are Mechabed the Torah and mitzvahs. It's not easy to let your son go 5,000 miles away just to learn, yet they did, knowing it would help me grow. I would also like to thank the Rebbeim, who not only helped nurture me to become a Torah, but also helped appreciate it to its full extent. Lastly, I would like to thank Hashem who enabled me to be part of this Mesorah of Yeshivas HaTorah.
Thank you very much, Aaron. I just want to say a personal comment that I can tell you as a coming night Seder, seeing the Rebbeim, how they interact with their Talmid in each night Seder, it's unbelievable. That feeling, that cheshik that Aaron was talking about, you definitely can feel it at night Seder. And I invite each and every one of you to come join night Seder because you really see it and feel it. We would like to take a moment to thank a few of the people who graciously gave their time and energy to make tonight's banquet possible. The banquet coordinators, Ms. Elisa Feinstein and Ms. Mimi Mandelbaum. Every detail of this evening's menu and decor was carefully planned by these women. We also wish both of them mazel tov on their son's siyum tonight. We thank Mrs. Mary Berkowitz and Ms. Nama Goldstein for the time they spent making phone calls for the banquet. We wish them also mazel tov on their son's siyumin. We also thank Mrs. Basia Israel and Ms. Ina Simon, who have given much of their time for editing the journal. A mazel tov to you as well on your son's siyum. I don't know if you're noticing a pattern. Everyone's, Baruch Hashem, a lot of siyumim. Our office staff, Mrs. Vadia Bromberg, Mrs. Debbie Baikas, Ms. Chana Malka Schwimmer, who work nonstop to keep the yeshiva running every day, who have been working overtime to ensure the success of tonight's evening. Personally, I can say my own personal thank you for all the years. They were almost like the mothers to the bathroom, that they helped them out and take care of them while on the physical aspects. Thank you. We also express our appreciation to Mrs. D.B. Fink, Ms. Faith Bugay, and the staff for all their help here tonight. Tonight's audio-visual services are provided by Larry Engelhardt of Deja Vu. And last but not least, thank you for everyone for joining us this evening. Please enjoy your first course. Thank you. There's a thank you to Ari Hershoff for the musical accompaniment that he's providing us for the dinner. Thank you very much. Also, we have to say thank you to the individuals who truly have the greatest impact on making yeshiva such a special Makom Torah. We'd like to recognize and express our appreciation to the exceptional staff of Rabbein and Anolos Yeshiva, led by the Rosh Nesifta, Leo Millen, Shlomo Kohn, and our Menal, Meor Yehuda Lichtman. Distinguished Talmidei Chacham educators who literally sacrificed everything for the learning and well-being and comfort of the yeshiva's Talmidim. Again, as I can say, I can personally attest, at all times, day and night, that they're available. We thank Rabbi Shmuel Kurtz, head of our General Studies Department, and a staff of highly qualified instructors who are in charge with the difficult task of settling down our young yeshiva chacham each afternoon so they can be productive in every part of their day. The yeshiva is also blessed with Rabbi Meor who is a remarkable asset to the yeshiva's beruchnius ubigashmius. Thank you as well for those who have supported our effort by being part of the Banquet Committee. Please enjoy your meal.
Waiting for the camera right now. All right.
I'm reading from a text, and obviously the text was written by somebody who didn't give himself credit. And before I introduce anything further, it's put to him, and we all need to show our first toe for Rabbi Ari, for all that he has done for us. I would like now to call upon Rabbi Rosh Yeshiva, Rabbi Elio Millen, to address the tzibur in honor of tonight's honoree.
Let me begin by thanking everyone who came out here this evening as a display of HaTorah and friendship to our esteemed honorees. Thank you to Mishpachas Mazlin and Mishpachas Revach for lending their Shem Tov L'Achzakas L'Aromas Keren HaTorah of the Yeshiva HaKadosha. It's special to be celebrating a Siyum on Masechtas Kiddushin this evening. In the past, we learned Kiddushin the whole year. This year, we decided to learn Kiddushin until Pesach and learn Sukkah, summer's month. Many Bachrim pushed themselves to finish Kiddushin by Lag BaOmer. On that note, I would like to take a moment to recognize some important guests we have here this evening. These are the grandparents of our Bachrim who have come to share in the chinuch of their grandchildren and show support to our yeshiva. Your commitment to Torah and community is on display this evening. We realize that after years of being mechanech your own children, it takes a special measure of effort to continue to be involved with the meistus of your grandchildren. Your sons and daughters and your einiklach owe their development as b'nei Torah to your investment in their growth. The credit for our yeshiva's growth and the values and leadership in our Chicago community is not our own. It is your legacy. It is your nachas. Me'omka de liba, our anhala, our talmidim, and our parents, thank you. Now a few words on Lag BaOmer, our honor reason specifically Mishpachas Maslin. The earliest source for Lag BaOmer being any different than any other day of Sfiras Omer is brought in the Meiri and Yevamos Sound Beis and Beis, B'Shem LeGa'onim. The Kabbalah B'Yada Ga'onim Sheb'Yoyim Lag BaOmer Paska Hamisa V'Noegim Mikol Kach Shelo Lisanes Koy. The Maharal in Chidush Agaros over there says it a little differently. He's bothered. The Gemara says that the Talmidim Rabbi Akiva died in Pesach Lat Atzeres, and the Kabbalah L'Gainim is that they stopped dying Lag BaOmer, as if it was the Gemara. So the Maharal says it's different than the Beis Yosef. The Maharal says that really the Talmidim died from Pesach until Atzeres, but nobody new got sick after Lag BaOmer. Lag BaOmer, whoever died after Lag BaOmer got sick before Lag BaOmer. He says this is hinted to in the Gemara. It says Shalei Nagu Kavod Zeh was why they were nifter. Kavod is Gematria Lamed Beis. So for 32 days they got sick, and from that sickness they were nifter. And on Lamed Gimel, which is Yud Ches Iyar, Chai Aruch, so then the getting sick stopped. And then the Maharal says, V'ayde Shulchan Ladas, Ki HaKavod U'Nikra Or. Kavod is called Or. He brings the pasuk in Yecheskel, V'ha'aretz Ha'ira Mikvayde. And that the month of light is Iyar. It's called Chodesh Ziv. And the Torah is given in Atzeres because it's the end of this man of Ziv V'Or. So for the Kavod and the Or of Torah, and the Talmidim Rabbi Akiva were like, Nahadu Kavod Zeh V'Zeh, and they were Baalei Torah, so therefore they were Meis, Zman, that pair. Frek Kaf HaChaim, the Simon Tov Tzadik Gimel, Sikon Chavav, that explains why there's a cessation of Avelus. But what's the reason for the mixed Simcha of Lag BaOmer? Where does that come from? The Chayadam in Chal Kuf Lamed Aleph Sifir Aleph says that in his town, the minig was to fear Avelus of Sfira from Yom Aleph to Rosh Chodesh Iyar until Gimel Sivan. Milvad the Lag BaOmer, Noegim Heter Shu Yom Ilula de Rashbi, V'Lichvoidoi Noegim K'tzas Simcha. So the Chayadam brings that the K'tzas Simcha comes because of the Ilula de Rashbi. Why is it that we find all kinds of people, from the Halik to the Pashut, from the religious to the secular, who are b'simcha in honor of this Hilula? I heard the following explanation from the Admor Miziditchov, the Zayin Gesund. The story regarding Rashbi leaving the cave is in Shabbos Daf, Lamed Gimel. So it says there, for 12 years, Rabbi Elazar, his son, and Rabbi Shvi were in the Mara, and Eliyahu came to sit at the opening of the cave, and he said, who's going to tell Bar Yochai that the Caesar died and the Gezerah has been annulled? So they came out of the cave, and they saw someone working the fields, and they said, V'nichim chaye oilam, v'aiskim b'chaye shah. So wherever they looked, kol makom shenoisnim enem miyad nisr, they got burnt up. The Basket came out and said, L'hachri v'saylami yitzasem, you're coming to destroy my world, go back to the cave. They went back to the cave for 12 months, and the Basket came out and said, Tzu, so they went out. And then the Gemara records that wherever Rabbi Elazar's vision was burning, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai's vision came, and it cured, it healed. And Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai turned to Rabbi Elazar and he said, V'ni, dai la'olam, ani va'ata. And then the Gemara concludes with this story. It was Erev Shabbos, and they saw Ahu Saba, an older man who was holding 2 bundles of hadassim and running. They nashmashas, and they said, what is that for? So he said, they're for Kavod Shabbos. So they said, what do you need 2 bundles for? He said, one for Zachar and one for Shomer. So Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai turned to Rabbi Elazar and he said, Chazei kama chavivim mitzvahs al Yisrael. Yasir datayim. So Rabbi Elazar heard that, so then they were able to continue living in the world without burning it up. But the rebels, as Zayin said, it's not just that they stopped burning up the world. It says that wherever Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai looked, it healed. So he was masbir that fire illuminates and fire burns. The fire at Har Sinai, it required Hagbalah, distance and limitation. But not because it was an Eish HaMashtis, a destructive fire, but rather because of the inherent Kedusha of the Maimon. It would burn anybody who's not on the level. Every Yid has that inner fire burning within. When it's brought out properly, it's an illuminating aura. When it's violated, it can burn a person. Initially, the Rashbi saw only the pechisus, the loneliness in man, and hence they were nisra, they were burned. Later, Rashbi was able to see the ar in the simple yid and bring out his ar. This is the simcha that penetrates to every yid on Lag BaOmer. The Shulchan Aruch in Narachaim Siman Tav Chav Ches brings a siman Pei Lamed Gimel, that Purim Pei always comes out on the same day as Lag BaOmer, Pei Lamed Gimel. So there's a remez there also that just like on Purim, the inner aura of a yid comes out, so on Lag BaOmer also, Zer Ampin, the same thing happens. Tonight's honorees are masters at this craft. Rabbi Rebach, whenever he opens his mouth, the HaTorah is dancing around him. Kipshutai. Bachurim naturally gravitate to him because of this. The Maslins, they wear the light of a yid on their faces, and their home is a beacon of art. I know the only reason they agreed to be our honorees is because of the L'Shem Shemaim desire to be my Rekavot Shemaim in any way. Our Pareichas in Yeshiva says on it, V'lema'ar Torascha Einenu Gal. This is the mission statement of the yeshiva, to enable each and every Talmud to get in touch with his inner fire and bring it out as a great art. The Maslins have shared this vision with us since the inception of the Moised, and have now benefited from it with Hatzlach of their own son Aaron. Who would have thought that years after the Maslins were there for us when we started the Moised, that their son would be davening from a siddur that was dedicated anonymously in memory of his grandfather who was named after. We are giving the Maslins a portrait of Rav Moshe Shapir Zecher Tzadik Livracha. It represents so much of where Rabbi Yishai's Torah understanding and pure hashkafa is derived. The inscription reads, Ois HaKaras HaTov Nesuna L'Kavod Archei HaKavod Rabbi Yishai Maslin Neir Yar Mishpachtoi Me'ez Yeshivas Maratorah Tafshin Ayin Zayin. It is my pleasure to ask Mr. Yishai Maslin along with Rosh Masita Rav Shlomo Cohen to join me at the podium.
You all know I'm not the most emotional person in the world, but thank you all for coming. Pastor Bain, Tehillah, Hebron. I just want to begin by saying that when we were asked if my wife would come and be flown in for this honor, that she quickly and incredulously responded, how can I come in to get a board for Mother of the Year and put my kids in daycare? It was a trick question. If both parents show up, then they take the award away. So I'm going to reluctantly accept the award on both as L'Shem Shemaim. People sometimes ask me, what I did to be Zocha to, I think we have pretty good kids. And I'll tell you a little secret. Every day, 3 times a day, I daven with all of my heart that my children should turn out just like their mother. That was the funny part. You guys were still... And having a son of the year makes it easy to look like a rock star. But for everybody that knows us, we're not used to being on a dais. We try to stay behind the scenes. It's pretty cool up here, but we're really happy to accept this award. The only reason we did it was because it serves as a platform for us to express our unending Hakaras HaTov. And I think we're still in Lag BaOmer, which is Hod Shabbat. It's a very auspicious time to be expressing Hakaras HaTov. So here it goes. Brother Nolan, I think 11 years and a couple of months ago was when the yeshiva started. And I think 13 years ago before that was when the idea was hatched. And I think he came to me on Richmond Street and he said, I want to start a yeshiva that really just caters to the whole buffer. And we talked about it, we fleshed out the idea, and we got behind it. And as the idea gradually unfolded, we got behind not only the vision, but all the people who were also behind it. Rabbi Lichtman, Rabbi Kurtz, and everybody else who followed. An unbelievable group of people we put together for an unbelievable Moshe. When Aaron told us a couple of years ago they went to learn in America, and he came back, and we looked at different yeshivas and said, I really want to go to yeshivas Meor Torah. Then my wife and I we realized that we were witnessing the fulfillment of the pasuk in Koheles, Shlach Lachmecha Al Pnei Hamayim. So how do we fully express our HaTorah for nurturing and guarding our son during the most critical years of his life? There's an old proverb that says that it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it takes a yeshiva, a whole yeshiva, to mechanech a talmid. And Aaron's benefited from everyone at Yeshivas Meor Torah, to the Menahelim, to the administrative staff, whether it's plumbing the decks or the Rishon, or getting an email from the siblings, of a picture of something going on in Israel, or working on something he's been learning in Musar Seder, or learning the Chachmas B'Olamim and appreciating it from a beautiful Torah perspective. Everybody in the yeshiva is there for one reason. They're there completely for the Talmidim, across the board. And the yeshiva has assembled such a stellar group of people across every aspect of the yeshiva. It's a tremendous bracha for Aaron, and it's a tremendous bracha really for our whole family. We work with a lot of Bali Tshuva in Eretz Yisrael, and often before they return, they express a concern. They started with it late in life. Maybe they don't know enough Torah. How are they really going to contribute to Klal Yisrael? And I want to tell you something that I tell them, which I really think is negay for all of us, especially you guys, the Talmidim. We live in a gullus right now that I think could not be fathomed by previous generations. People have access to things instantly that should never be seen or heard by any human being. And our existence, Nefesh, Ruach, and Neshama, is under constant assault. Do you know what it is just to have Torah and mitzvahs these days? Just to be a Torah Jew, just to believe in a Kadosh Baruch Hu and do his mitzvahs and want to learn his Torah. Do you know what that does for the world? That's something you can be incredibly proud of, let alone the level that you've achieved, which is way, way, way above that. So how do you develop a love for both the Kadosh Baruch Hu and his Torah? Rick Dessler says that the word chav, give, right, is how you come to love something. Real love comes giving of yourself and having a personal, unique connection with Kadosh Baruch Hu, identifying, nurturing, cultivating, and then galvanizing upon each Talmud's uniqueness and his relationship with the Kadosh Baruch Hu and his Torah. That was part of the original mission statement that we talked about with Rabbi Nolan. And 10 years later, 11 years later, the yeshiva has delivered on that mission statement beyond anybody's expectations. The result has been to foster a burning love for Hashem's Torah and mitzvahs, and a desire to spend a lifetime developing a unique and personal relationship with both. Additionally, and perhaps most importantly, by focusing on the unique capabilities of each bacher, Yeshivas Meor Torah produces students that believe in themselves. This means everything. In a time when Revoli wrote in Sefer Tzedek HaShavaka referred to Yish as the Nisoyan of our door, Yish. Yeshivas Meor Torah produces Talmidim that recognize, they realize they're not just a single drop in the entire ocean, but they're an entire ocean in a single drop. And realizing that potential is everything. Every day we say, Moda'ani l'chanechem v'alachadech hayam shechazarta v'nishmasi v'chem lak raba emunasecha. Who's emunah and who are we talking about? Hashem's emunah in us. Hashem believes in us that every day he gives us our soul back, and he believes in us with everything to justify another day of our own existence. So if he knows everything and he believes in us, it's it's probably usher or HaTorah not to have the tough announcement. And the Rebbeim and Hala, they believe in you guys, they believe in the Talmidim to that extent. And it ignites and fosters a belief in yourself that Yirtzeh Hashem will carry you through whatever life throws at you. Somebody say amen. Yeshiva's Meor HaTorah has exceeded our wildest expectations. We've seen Aaron transform into a learned, confident, balanced, younger man, and he's eager to go on learning and growing and learning and growing in life. So what do you possibly, how do you repay such a gift? We thought about this very hard, and we want to ask you all to help us with something. I'm going to go out on a limb here. We're going to be the founders of the Understanding Movement. I'm going to explain, okay? All you need to do is stand up every time you see Kli Kodesh. I know that's halacha. Maybe not everybody, including myself, until recently was machbid on it. But I said I wanted to use this as a platform to be makar tov, and I think if we all stand up every time we see a Kli Kodesh, that we'll do something really positive for the world, and this is why. You know, what are we all doing here? We're coming together for Torah. We're coming together to honor a Torah institution. We're coming together for a siyum. And it's an auspicious time because, like Rabbi Millen said, this is a time when people were not makshid each other's Torah, and it had disastrous effects that we can't even imagine that rippled throughout time. But it's also the day when people stop dying, and it's Hod Shabbat. It's honoring each other. It's giving a karas tov to the people who really are holding up the world. The first Rashi in Bereshis, B'shvil Reshis, B'shvil Torah, and B'shvil Yisrael. Those are the reasons that the world was created. It's not for guys who do nanotechnology like me, for attorneys, or for business people, real estate. It says B'shvil Torah. And our Kli Kodesh, our Rebbeim, are really holding up the world, because if they didn't teach Torah to the next generation, it's a lot of pressure. If you don't get it right, there's no reason for the world to continue to exist. Touch it. What they've done in this yeshiva is fostered this incredible desire to keep learning, and they've assured that their duty's been fulfilled and the next generation is going to go on. Pardon the popular reference, but they're the real guardians of the galaxy. Isaac Newton was credited with saying, "If I see further than most men, it's because I stand on the shoulders of giants." Now contrast this with a chazal that says we should sit at the dust of their feet and drink with thirst their words. They're both being makar tov, but standing on the shoulders of giants implies that we can actually see further than them, and sitting at the dust of their feet ignores the proper kavod and godless that they deserve. And in understanding this greatness is the world in which a symbol of our great debt and gratitude to our committed to come and upholding everything. It takes a village to raise a child. It takes a yeshiva to raise a talmid, and it takes a kehillah to make a parent. My wife and I weren't born in Chicago, but when people ask us where we're from, we say we're from Chicago, because our formative years were rooted in a community that's all of you. Our beloved, precious kehillah that we davened with, studied from, mourned with, and celebrated with, and learned to be a parent was all of you. We always tell people if we had to be anywhere outside Chicago, anywhere outside of Eretz Yisrael, it would be Chicago. So how can we not take this opportunity to be makar tov to every one of you who's touched our lives and continue to touch our lives by being there for Aaron in our absence? I also want to be Makar Tov to our son Aaron. Aaron, you were our first through the realization of the potential of Mommy and I. And you set the bar, and you set it really high for your brothers and sister. And you continue to exceed all of our expectations. May Hashem help you continue to exceed your own expectations and grow in Torah, Avodah, and Gemilas Chesed. Thank you to HaTorah Baruch Hu. On behalf of my entire family, Yeshli Kol, there's no words. Thank you.
Mr. Millen, Dvarim Shevelev, and Nechnosim Belev is greatly appreciated. Please turn your attention to the screen for a special video presentation in honor of tonight.
A Ben Torah is somebody who lives his life not only in the Beis Medrash, when he gets up in the morning to when he goes to sleep, he is somebody who lives by the Torah.
The way you treat people, the way you interact with people, it all has to be with the Mahalach of the Torah.
Everything he does in life is permeated with an unswerving dedication to the Rebbeinu Shalom and to Torah true values.
Wherever they may end up, or whatever type of shtella they may get eventually, the Torah is the focal point of their life.
My years spent in Meor have prepared me for my journey as a Ben Torah by infusing this rutzin in me to want to learn and to follow this path of a Ben Torah.
The yeshiva tries with tremendous yada d'shmaya to instill in every bacher the geschmack in learning, yira shemayim, midas taivas, and everything that it takes for him to become a real Ben Torah and to continue growing and steiging for the rest of his life.
I'm in Yeshiva Dela Pesach, learning by Meor Stern. There's about 170, 180 Bachrim.
I've learned the Pesach for the past 4 years. First Seder, there's a packed base medrash of a couple hundred Bachrim and Yigalite, all working through the sugya, working through the shir, which the yeshiva gave the day before.
I'm currently learning in the Meor, tens of Bate Midrashim, thousands of Bachrim, Avrechim.
I've been in Yeshiva Scranton for 3 years. The yeshiva itself has been around for 52 years. Both Rosh Yeshivas are Talmidim from Aaron.
I'm learning in Rav Asher's shir, which is officially about 1,000 Bachrim. Baruch Hashem, I'm enjoying it very much over there.
Without the tools that I've gained from Yeshiva HaTorah, I don't know if I would be able to tap in and grasp all that I could from a restaurant shir, to have that drive to learn and chazer and to really understand.
The yeshiva does whatever it could to give a bacher an enjoyment in his learning and a sense of accomplishment. The Rabbeim develop a shaykhis with the Bachrim that lasts long after they leave the yeshiva. When I was already in Pesach, I was keeping up with the Rabbeim. They were constantly speaking to them to make sure I'm still doing fine. I remember other Bachrim from other yeshivas express their envy and that they don't have such a relationship with the Rabbeim. That kesher and shaykhis is what brings about the success.
The absolute mesirus that every Rebbe will have to make sure that every single Talmud is matzliach. The extra hours, not part of the official starim at Rebbeim, spend time with their Talmidim. He feels warmth. Feels the comfort to be able to relate to his Rebbe, to understand his Rebbe cares about him.
In the classic Chazal of Chanukah al Pi Darko, Yeshivas Meor Torah shines like no other.
When every bacher knows that the Rebbeim care about him as a father, when every bacher knows that he's got somebody watching out for him, then each bacher wants and strives to do his best. And anybody doing their best can go anywhere they want. The Rebbe walks and stands and looks over the Talmud's shoulder and watches as he grows as his own son.
There's no request for somebody who wants to grow that is turned down.
What Yeshiva HaTorah really gave me was both the aspect of having a geschmackkeit and learning that strive, I want to learn, also how to look, act, and personify myself as a Ben Torah.
The concept of hasmada, just taking a sugya or taking a masechta and just putting all your time into it and making that your main focus was something I saw and learned here.
Meor gave me the chance to become a masmid. The yeshiva is constantly trying to work out different programs, encourage the Bachrim to finish Mesechtes.
in 10th grade, I wanted to finish with Basra. But Mavis has a year before Shachris. My Friedman helped me learn a couple prakim during lunch. Through that program, it helped me be able to accomplish what I wanted to accomplish that year. I was able to finish, and they made a whole lavish museum.
The push to finish Meseches Bav Mitzvah what brought about Hasmada, because you can't finish Bav Mitzvah without Hasmada. And it brings about a cheshek, and the cheshek is what helped me grow.
Meor prepared me for my journey to the next level. They got me excited enough that pushed me to the next step to be able to want me to keep going.
By Yeshivas HaTorah really encouraging me to accomplish my goals, it really brought me to the realization and gave me confidence for me to be able to believe in myself, to be able to accomplish anything that I wanted to do in learning, and it really truly helped me get me to where I am today.
I'd like to thank the yeshiva for giving me my first enjoyment, real enjoyment in learning, for giving me a sense of accomplishment which drove me further in learning, and which hopefully will continue to drive me further to continue to grow in Torah and Yerushalayim.
It's an incubator. It's a hothouse, where people can really grow and thrive.
To say that. You only have to say
I'm
that.
really very proud of my Bachram. The ideals and the Hashkafas HaChaim and the Chashivas HaTorah that they get here in Yeshiva, that carries them and that they continue to adhere to even after they leave the Kaisli Yeshiva and go on to the greater yeshivas in the East Coast and in Eretz Yisrael, is something that makes the yeshiva very proud of them. The Rebbeinu Shalom has his army of B'nai Torah, and that we're participating and helping Bachram join the ranks of the B'nai Torah of the world.
I now would like to call upon Rabbi Yeshua Goldstein, Shlita, to address the Tzibur L'Kovet tonight's honoree.
Shus Rosh Hashanah, Chosh Rebbeim, Amala, Shus Marana Rabban Rabbi Sai. Torah says this week's Parshas Koisai. The Torah tells us that if Klal Yisrael does the mitzvahs and Koisai Teilechu, they'll be zoicha to all the brachas. It's a very puzzling pasuk. The pasuk says towards the end of the brachas, "V'nasati mishkani b'seichem, v'leisigal nafshi yeschem." The Kodesh Baruch Hu says that if Klal Yisrael learns Torah and does mitzvahs, they will be zeicher to a bracha that HaKadosh Baruch Hu won't be disgusted with them. V'leisigal nafshi yeschem. This is a pella. Klal Yisrael is being oisir mitzvah shomakai. Klal Yisrael is learning Torah. Klal Yisrael is being mekayim mitzvahs. Klal Yisrael is being omel in Torah. Im chukaisei teilechu zakashi shetiu amelim b'Torah. And the bracha that they're going to be zeicher is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu won't be disgusted with them. V'leisigal nafshi yeschem. This needs a beer. Hagoyim Moshe Feinstein Zatzal says the following. There are two ways that a Yid could do a mitzvah. A Yid could do a mitzvah because he has to do the mitzvah. He's mechuyev in the mitzvah. He's muchrich to be mekayim the mitzvah. He does the mitzvah because that's his chayiv. That's his obligation. But he doesn't have any lay. He has no cheshek in the mitzvah. That's one way of doing a mitzvah. But then there's another way to do a mitzvah. The Yid does a mitzvah with the cheshek, with the islavus, with the bread, with enthusiasm, and he loves the mitzvah. He's in the kind of mitzvah b'simcha. That's a whole different madrega of asiyas mitzvahs. Every mitzvah that a person does gets schar. Even if a person does mitzvahs because he's mechuyev in the mitzvah, it has no simcha in the mitzvah, that mitzvah deserves schar. But the schar that a person gets is exactly the same as the mitzvah that he performs. If the mitzvah he does b'teiras chayiv, if he's mekayim the mitzvah because he has to do the mitzvah, not because he wants to do the mitzvah, so Kav Yochel HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives him schar. Like that schar is chas v'sholem the schar of the goal of nafshi yeschem. The schar that HaKadosh Baruch Hu pays him, not because HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to give him the schar, because Kav Yochel HaKadosh Baruch Hu has to give him schar. If a person does a mitzvah b'teich simcha, person's Mekayim Simcha, is Mekayim Mitzvah with Cheshek, with Abren, with Islavus, that's a whole different madrega of Asiyas Mitzvahs. The Ebershter mentions us that we should be zeicher to do mitzvahs that will earn us v'leisig al nafshi eschem. How does a person come to do mitzvahs b'simcha? Which midah is a person supposed to be mitzdayin and that brings them to do mitzvahs b'simcha? I think it's pashut that if a person has a chashivas for Torah, a person has an emes chashivas for mitzvahs, a person realizes what a gem Torah is, how precious Torah is, how chashuv Torah is, then a person can't help by not getting excited about learning Torah doing mitzvahs. We're holding down this man of Sfiras HaOmer. Sfiras HaOmer is this man which is set aside by the Torah as achana for Kabbalah HaTorah. What's the one mitzvah the Torah gives us to prepare us for Kabbalah HaTorah? Sfiras HaOmer. What's the mitzvah Sfiras HaOmer? Says the Sefer HaChinuch, the mitzvah Sfiras HaOmer is that a person should count the days to Yom Matan Torah Seinu, and a person should realize how chashuv Torah is, and a person should be anticipating and waiting, Masai Yagia Hayom, when will this day come that we will be zeicher to Kabbalah HaTorah? The Torah is telling us that the avodah that a yid has to do in order to be zeicher to Kabbalah HaTorah is one thing, to work on his cheshek and his chashivas HaTorah. The more that a person is mitzdayin and chashivas HaTorah, the more a person realizes how precious Torah is, then a person will be zeicher to mekayim mitzvahs b'simcha v'tuv v'levav. There's a story that happened with Meor Rabbi Hagoyim Rebellious Fez Atzal. One time he was sitting by a simcha. It was a few weeks before Shabbos HaGadol. And there was a Rav who came to the simcha, and he figured this is a gewaltic opportunity. He had to prepare a drasha for Shabbos HaGadol. Chaparai, you're really sitting by the simcha. He'll try it as drasha. He'll try saying over his drasha to Rebellion. He started saying over the Shtickle Torah. He said a kasha, he said a Torah, to Rebellion, hat sich geschlagen mit jeder Shtickle in the Shtickle Torah. He asked him kashas, at the end of the Shtickle Torah, it's gar nicht geblieben. Nothing was left from the Shtickle Torah. When the person walked away, somebody sitting next to Rebellion commented to Rebellion, so I asked him, Rashiva, this is his parnos, he's a Rav, he has to say a drasha for Shabbos HaGadol. He destroyed his whole Shtickle Torah. The Rashiva Rebellion answered the following. Torah is a diamond. If someone takes a diamond and he scratches it against the wall, he throws it on the floor, he steps on it, ich soll schweigen, I should keep quiet. Ich darf schreien. As man versteht that Torah is a diamond, he's taking Torah and he's being mekalkel the Torah. He's saying the wrong pshat. He's saying the wrong pshat in the Taisis, the wrong pshat in the Gemara. How can I keep quiet? Someone who really realizes and recognizes the true chashivas of Torah, he realizes how precious Torah is, and Torah is a karihim ifninim. So how could he be mekalkel the Torah? That brings a person to a true madrega of simchas HaTorah, of islavus HaTorah, and of the cheshek in doing mitzvahs. I think it's pashut. This is the avodah of every yeshiva. Avodah of a yeshiva is not just to teach the bachrim the skills to learn Torah, not just to teach the bachrim how to be mekayim mitzvahs. The avodah of a yeshiva is to instill in the bachrim a cheshek, a pren, a yislavus for kiyum Torah, to realize how fortunate we are, and what a precious matana we have, that we have this chus to mekayim Torah, to learn Torah, and to mekayim mitzvahs. I think it's pashut that the yeshivas Meor Torah Befrat excels in this nekuda with such Rosh Mesivta, Hola, the Rebbeim, all Anoshim Gedolim, Anoshim Chashuvim, people that personify Chashivus HaTorah, Simchas HaTorah. It's no shaila that when the Bachar have such gewaltige role models, when they see this, they're inspired, and this brings to a meridik madrega of Pilpul HaTorah, of Simchas HaTorah. I've been zeicha to see this with my own two eyes, the meridik Rischa Deraisa, and the meridik Yishrak, and the meridik Arangatonkeit that the Bachar have in Limud HaTorah. I think it's very zugepasst that one of the Orchei HaKavod that the yeshiva chose to be mechabed, Yidid Nafshi, Harav Moshe Revach Shlita, I was able to be his chavrusa for many years. If there's one word that could sum up the Yitzdainus of Moshe Revach, Simchas HaChaim, Simchas HaTorah. Anybody who has any shaychus with him, anybody who comes in contact with him, can't help to be excited, can't help to be inspired by the meridik Simcha, the meridik Geschmack, and the meridik Islavus he has in every mitzvah, in every word of Torah. And versteht sich, this spills over. This is mashpia on everyone, mashpia on the bachrim, mashpia on his chaderim, and everyone is mushpa from this simchas HaTorah. It's very zugepasst that this maimed of kavod HaTorah should coincide with being mechabed azah choshev dugma of someone who's been staying in Simchas HaTorah and Simchas HaChayim. And now ask Rabbi Moshe Rebach, along with the Rosh Hashanah, to join me at the podium to receive this award. This portrait of the Chazoras Ashir Huddle with Harav Meir Stern Shlita of Pasek represents the Ashpa that Rav Rebach has absorbed from his Judaism and is now passing on to his Talmidim. The inscription reads, Ois HaKaras HaToiv V'Suna L'Koved Orchei HaKoved Harav Moshe Rebach Shlita L'Mishpachtoi Me'ez Yeshivas Oyer HaTorah Topshin Ein Zayin. A special gift will be represented on the women's side as well to Mrs. Rebach.
Bershus, the Rosh Mesifta, the Rosh Koilel, the Choshedim Galait, and the Marbitzei Torah here, and Kol HaKodesh Hazeh. First of all, I'd like to take some of the 5 minutes allotted to me to thank the greater Chicago community for the way that my family and I have been treated since we moved to the city. In every way, you've been full of complete chesed and chashivas for Torah, and it should stand as a zechus for the community and for all of Klal Yisrael. All right, as I mentioned, I'm limited to 5 minutes, so let's get started. There's a Gemara in Baba Basra that compares Rabbeim to stars. Stars in heaven, I mean those type of stars. So there are various interpretations to this memra of Chazal. How are Rabbeim compared to stars? Not the least of them. Sometimes the Rabbeim put their kids to sleep and they see the stars. But there is a pshat I heard from Reb Shimshon Pinkas once, and it goes as follows. And in order to understand his pshat, we have to divulge a little Kabbalah, as we do for most of his Torah. Okay, so we're all familiar with horoscopes and how everything is supposedly written in the stars. And the truth is that everything really is written in the stars. It's brought down in the halacha that if somebody were to see that in the stars that danger is foretold for him, he must take action based on what he sees. The stars really do tell the future. Obviously nowadays this chachma is completely lost, and anybody who needs a neon sign to advertise the fact that they know how to do it, do not trust them. Okay? But now the reason why everything is written in the stars is because the way the Rebbeinu Shalom set up the world is that anything he wants to do on this world, he doesn't actually move this world. What he does is he moves the stars. And by moving the stars, it reflects on this world. Imagine you have a joystick. What Hashem does is he would move the joystick, he would move the stars, and that would effect a change on this world. That's the way the Rebbeinu Shalom runs this world. Of course, it's completely in control of Hashem. But the position of the stars is what dictates what happens on this world. And that's why somebody who could read the stars would be able to tell you the near future. And that's what horoscopes are all supposed to be about. Supposed to telling you what the near future is, what Hashem has in store for you. This is known as a person's mazel. Every person has his own mazel, his own niche where he is reflected in the stars. And if you're able to find your mazel, you would be able to see exactly what's going to happen to you. And this is the mistake that some goyim made when they started to serve the stars, because they saw the stars dictating what's going to be in the future. And therefore, they started to serve the stars not knowing that the stars themselves are being directed by Hashem. In fact, we have a greeting we give at every Jewish simcha, and that's the greeting called Mazel Tov. Now, an unaffiliated member would, occasionally we're asked the question, what exactly does Mazel Tov mean? And what do we answer? Like, good luck. So tonight, many people have wished me Mazel Tov, and if it means good luck, then it makes sense. I mean, hey man, you're being honored, good luck. But, is this the same type of greeting we want to give somebody at a wedding, his first night as a chassan, like you're getting married? Been there, good luck. This is not the type of thing we'd like to wish him. So the actuality is that Mazel Tov means that Hashem should give you and should place you, by a newborn baby, by a bar mitzvah bacher, by somebody making a siyum, Hashem should place you and your future, the future marriage, should be in a good mazel. When He deals with you via the stars, they should be dealt with. You should be dealt with in a good mazel. That's mazel tov. Hashem should deal with you in a good way. Everything to do with the marriage, everything to do with the child should be with mazel tov. So now, if you see somebody win a lottery, let's say, or fall, chas v'shalom, and break his leg, you may attribute this action to what he himself did. He himself went ahead and bought a lottery ticket, or he himself went skiing and broke his leg. And the truth is, that's what happened, but only because it was dictated by the stars, being run by Hashem. The stars were the cause, and what you see on this world is only an effect. And that, says Reb Shimshon, is what Rabbeim are compared to stars for. Because when you see a successful person, a complete Ben Torah, somebody who sees the world through a prism of Ben Torah, somebody who davens well and somebody who learns well, he's not a self-made man. This person comes from his Rabbeim. And the same way, when people see things happening on this world, they don't necessarily attribute it to the true cause, which are the stars, being run by Hashem. So too, when people see a complete success, they don't attribute it to the true cause, which were his Rabbeim. In the same way, I would like to say this idea applies to our yeshiva. When you see a group of Bachrim who show up to every tefillah, when you see a group of Bachrim who don't miss a Seder in Chavetz Chaim, when you see boys who are truly Yarei Shemayim, you know why? That's the effect. But because was a full yeshiva investing in them. The yeshiva of Meor HaTorah. And the secret of Yeshiva's Meor HaTorah is that they treat every Talmud like their own son. You know, for Bekias, and I'm sure for every subject, for Bekias, that was the 5-minute mark. For Bekias, and I'm sure for every subject, we have, when you talk to a class, it's very hard to talk to the entire class. Usually you have, the shir is directed to the average, the average boys in the middle, and you have the boys at both ends of the spectrum who are, not gaining fully because the Rebbe has to talk to the middle of the class. So I once asked Rabbi Cohn, the Rosh Masifta, and I asked him, maybe I should make a specialized test for the boys at one end of the spectrum. And Rabbi Cohn said, and what about the boys at the other end of the spectrum? So, no problem, I could write 15 separate tests. But he was worried about every single bacher. Don't let any bacher fall through the cracks. There's not one bacher who you cannot take full attention to. This is the way he treated every single bacher in yeshiva, and it's not only him. It's every Rebbe in the yeshiva. Every Rebbe in the yeshiva treats every single bacher as an individual. And the reason is because they treat them like their own children. Chazal say that when you teach a child, it is as if you gave birth to him. Now, trust me, after sitting through some second seders, I know why women complain about giving birth. But this is real halacha. You could be Yotzi Pru'aru if you're a Rebbe. And this is the way Chazal mandated one must teach his children. It says, Vishinantam levonecha, and Rashi often art says that it means to your Talmidim. So if it means Talmidim, why did it say Talmidim? And the answer is because the way you must treat your Talmidim is as if you treat is the way you treat your own children. And that's the way they're treated at Meor. This is the yeshiva we have here. A yeshiva where every bracha becomes a son. Where the stars, the Rabbeim, take and mold every single son that they get and bring out the biggest Ben Torah that they could. May this yeshiva and all the yeshivas around Klal Yisrael continue to thrive and flourish to bring the Geula Shalema.
Amen. Unbelievable message that Rabbi Reva just gave. I can, as a parent, spending the past few years with Meor, I can totally and absolutely concur with everything he said. One of the special things of the dinner of Meor is that most of the years that I've been here, they have a siyum to conclude so it's really a Sudas mitzvah. So this year, the Bachram finished Masechtas Kedushin. We'd like to thank Reverend and Mrs. Noah Wolf for sponsoring tonight's siyum. Ariel Gopnicki, who is one of tonight's Tziyunim. I call upon Rosh Koil, Rav Yosef Reichenbach, to address the tzibur in honor of tonight's Tziyum.
Shus Rosh Yeshiva, Ki lekach toiv nosati lochem, Yossi al Hazoim. I have given you a good mecca, good acquisition. Shmoch tells Klal Yisrael, you got a good deal. Yossi al Hazoim, don't leave my Torah, don't leave this deal behind. It's a good deal. What's so special about the deal? The Medrash in Parshas Truma explains Yesh L'cha Adam Koine Mecca. A person acquires gold, Zov, Ein Le Kesef. Doesn't receive in addition on the side silver. Yesh Koine Mecca Shel Kesef. He acquires silver. Ein Le Mekabel Zov. Doesn't have gold on the side in addition. In all deals, what you pay for, what you settle on, that's what you get. Yesh Le Soda, Ein Le Kerem. If he has a field, he doesn't have a vineyard, Yesh Le Kerem, Ein Le Soda. If he bought a vineyard, he's not going to find the soda coming for free on the side. Over the Torah is a definition that I gave you, Yesh Le Zov, and the Chmodim Yizov Hozov, it has gold, Yesh Le Kesef. The Torah has sodas, it has fields, and it has crumbling vineyards. Shlochayach Kavus Remoyim. So Semes is masbir that the Medrash is telling us that a Yid through his kesher to Torah, his kesher through Achzokas HaTorah, is gaining a shaykhis and access to all of the brachas and shefa that are available in Elam Hazeh. Through a shaykhis HaTorah, it's a seal of a bracha of Zov, Kesef, Sodas, Kromim, everything that there is shefa and bracha in Elam Hazeh. And the Sosemes adds. That is the reason behind the Minik Yisrael to make a siyam, a suda upon completing Simon Masechta. The suda, the oichel, and the mashke, and the Hazeh, the brachas and shefa come together with the king and Aliyah B'Torah. Tonight, we all come together to support and show support the Heilig Yechoshi Yeshiva HaTorah. It's very kind of them, very befitting, very passive. To include us in the scene, 22 Bochum, entire Bochum. Yeshiva is made of top to bottom entire Bochum. Then the Shchenim know them. Telling you Shchenim know them. They know a lot about us, we know about them. Bochum, they use the time that other people consider my own time, private time, downtime. And the time was put forth in Meor ben Amelus and Meor ben Yigiyah, finish the Masechta. There's Bein HaStorim, there's more than one Bein HaStorim, before Shabbos. There's after they finish Night Seder Meor, the Bochum learning there after we finish our Night Seder Meor. And then there's learning going on in other Bochum Midrashim in the neighborhood. After that, we are in HaTorah. All this is done under the guidance and the motivation of our Rabbein, Chaverim, the HaTorah, the ganze Kol, the ganze Zayim, such as Chaverim, Choshvet, and the Chomim, Zion, and Flogim. Tonight, in the Malach Simcha, Peiris, all this Ashkor, and all this Amelus, Eivish will get him. If you see him, the Seth Kedushin should just be another step. All the Bochum in Yeshiva, all the Choshev Bochum, entire Bochum in Yeshiva, part of your Aliyah, out B'nai Torah, becoming grace from the Chom, Yeshiva continue to see much Hatzlacha and Nachas, and the same to us as well, the proud Shusim and support of this Yeshiva, Maus to the Bochum assignment.
I now call upon Yitzhak Ginsburg to be Messiah Masechtas Kedushin. We ask Aaron Feinstein to come on and to say the Hadron. The other Messiah will recite the Hadron from their places.
about a father's choice for his son's trade. Brings down the price of the sheep and Meor about what a father should do for his son. Meor said, set aside all the trades in the world. The only trade I taught my son was Torah. All the regular mundane trades in the world. Won't provide for him when he's young. And now she's mother. And when he's old or he's sick, or he's going to starve, he can't work. Torah is not like this. It provides for a man when he's young. And it sounds like after it's the sick of basic news that gives him hope and everlasting support when he's old also. Based on the Gemara brings a pasuk that is up based on was the pasuk said, the Kadesh and the Aver and Shar. And those that hope that Hashem will help, will increase strength and give them limbs like an eagle. Martin, pasuk in Shaya, she asked this to people that don't remember. The Gnusay my own what the pasuk says, the Gnusay that he'll be able to grab that. Oh, you do the sego, then will sprout as old age, the shane around in you. Will be fat and content. Hajjan Allah, sorry, I'm saying this week, well, it's after Kedusha.
Ask Reverend Noah Wolf to please say Kaddish now.
Sadar, we shall live, we shall all, Shmei, Kudisham,
Everyone please be seated for mention.
Mazel tov, everyone. We'll now be benching. Following benching, we invite everyone to take in the dessert buffet set up outside. What happened without Rabbi Bachamovis's morning shiurim and Rabbi Pillar's evening shiurim? Thank you very much, Rabbi Bachamovis and Rabbi Pillar.
Tzioni Lechashem, Seder Avodah Yerushalayim, Hashem, Hashem Shechinaas Hashem, Tzioni Lechashem, Seder Avodah Yerushalayim, Onorachu, Onorachu, ay 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 Rachu. Richard!